So I am a graduate student in the Liberal Studies department here at SFU, which is where I met Shock. She is the young woman hanging out with all of these children. There she is. Shock was originally born in Iraq. She has experience as a refugee in several countries. She's been in Canada for a few years now. And she made friends with Noir, who is the tall young man in these videos. He's a photographer in Iraq, and he's been taking photographs of his own personalized experience to counteract the news media's offering of actually what's going on in Iraq. The two of them became friends, and he came to Vancouver a couple months ago, and they decided that they wanted to do something together. And the idea that they came up with was to give cameras to children. And the group of children that they wanted to reach out to are young Syrians who've just come to Vancouver. So with this idea, they reached out to SFU's Van City of Community Engagement Office. And it was a natural fit with their programming. That office provided resources and space, and things became real. Shock engaged a couple of other people. Myself, I'm a filmmaker and communications practitioner, and Noir is a graphic designer. So the four of us were the program offerers, but we certainly weren't the only adults who were involved in this project. So what actually happened is we delivered a series of workshops. There were 3 day-long workshops in August, teaching these kids. There were about 12 of them, is that right? Between the ages of 6 and 12. We taught them to take photographs, and we got the little disposable point and shoots, so they were actually learning about film photography. Showed them how to use the camera, covered basic things like lighting and composition and framing and approaching your subject, and then sent them out into the world to take photographs. Brought them back, developed the photos, took a look at them, had another workshop about how to get more specific with what they wanted, sent them out again, and the images that they came back with, we curated, chose images that each child was most attracted to, and then staged an exhibition at a space called the Interurban Gallery, which is here in the downtown east side. As a research project, Shock and Noir were particularly interested in finding ways to unlearn the media's fetishization of war, violence, trauma, as the language that we use to speak about what's going on in Iraq and Syria and the wave of immigrants who are coming to Canada. They wanted to create a dynamic of community and humanism and actually put faces and bodies to this story, and so this was how we approached it. And part of the experiment was, would media pick up this different way of talking about this particular issue? There's a moniker that the news media has trained us to use when we think about people coming to Canada from Syria. We tried not to use that anywhere ever, and a lot of the media actually did pick it up, and they got on board with getting to know the kids and getting to know them as photographers and getting to know their families. It was really inspiring, and I have to say that the opening at the gallery was jubilant. The photographs all over the walls, in big colorful prints and little books of their small prints. Shock wrote up aspirational biographies for these children, who they would be as adults living their lives out in Vancouver, successful people. And when they walked in, the gallery was already full and buzzing when they walked in, and the room burst into applause, and they were sort of startled at the wave of welcoming that was meeting them, but they just stepped right into it. It was fun and hilarious and joyful, and so it was a real successful experiment about building community, getting to know the people who are actually coming in to be part of our neighborhood. CBC, the Tyee, Rabble.ca, a lot of coverage in SFU News and Roundhouse Radio all picked up the stories and did lovely things with it. And one of the quotes from Shock, as she was reflecting on her whole experience, was that she's learned, if nothing else, to infuse your work with love. Thanks.